Chinua Lumogu Achebe was born November 6.
It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tokwe Bakatiki. How are you?
Amazing morning. I'm still doing...
This whole week is your birthday. Please, just send me cake. Whose cake is this? I was on my own.
It's not you alone. Okay. But I know you said you wanted chocolate. So
yeah.
If
it's for different people.
Yes,
wow, thank God. Because I was like,
yeah,
who sent Tokwe to be this morning? Yeah.
To be a temptation. No, I'm not going to be the... But I want to thank the ladies of Your View. I got my birthday gift. My birthday gift, my speakers, everybody that showed up for the conference. So I'm doing it. I cannot greet everybody finish at the same time, but definitely need to appreciate batch by batch. FFA, Bishop Funke Felix Adejumo, thank you. Dr. Lumide Emmanuel, thank you. Mr. Femi Okolawon, thank you. My panelists, as in Gina's story, Gina for the Foodies and Spice. I've spoken to her before, but I didn't know that much, and she delivered. Udi Foods brought palm oil. Did you get palm oil? They didn't give you palm oil? Oh, so they brought palm oil. I know they shared 50 kegs of palm oil, so but I don't know who got what, what. Okay,
shared it that day?
Yeah, she gave it to the speakers, and I know that a few people got, I don't know how many people shared it, but it was FFA came with yam and palm oil.
Wow.
I'm like,
to support.
As in, I didn't even understand, but I'm just so grateful for everyone. My media team showed up, and my Rep 360 people worked like they were earning salary for being there, So I feel very, very grateful. Messages are still coming in. Donations are still expected and coming in, because we're still trying to fund 40 families, and we've barely gotten funds for 10 families for now. By the end of this month, the first 10 families will be selected to go for sponsored IVF. Yay, glory to God. And then we continue to gather the funds for the other 30 families. Please check my social media page to donate to the Funding 40 Families initiative. It will go a long way in helping families that are waiting. We have enough applicants. Please don't send message to apply. It's money we are looking for now. Thank you.
Hello, Mariam. How are you?
I'm doing good. But I don't have anything to say.
You had a packed weekend now.
Well, today is a Wednesday, girl. We've already we've seen at the weekend. But when you were talking about the cake that you got and how it's a temptation. Yesterday I had made up my mind. I'm not going to eat anything sweet, whatever. And then I was presented with cake, rice, and a bottle of soft drink, like right in front of me. I'm like, oh, these spirits that are flying everywhere.
They know what they're
when
doing.
You say you want to do something, then they send you a challenge to see how you would overcome it. But
did you overcome?
I'm proud to say that I did.
I'm very proud of you.
We're proud of you.
I didn't imagine.
I'm good. It's amazing when you get reviews that people are using your product and it's working. It just gives me a good feeling that I should keep doing what I'm doing. So I've been getting a lot of reviews on my skincare products. There were people I sent the skincare products to try it, different complexion, light skin, dark skin, and they came back with very good reviews. We already have a distributor in Abuja.
Yay.
My products are in different big stores in Abuja. So we have in Lagos, we have in Abuja. We're still looking to see how we can get into other states. I'm looking at Port Harcourt, Asaba, Calabar, Jos, and all those states. So we're still having conversations. If you want to be a distributor of, Body by BC, please reach out. Let's do this together. I'm all about natural skincare, chemical-free skincare. So that in a few years' time, you're not looking at kidney failure, cancer, and all those things.
Or
and it's not 2 days. It's not use and 2 days.
We are
you
the
brighten.
don't try.
We go gradual. And if you look at me, I'm not wearing any form of makeup today.
I
and
knew,
I am
I know
glowing.
you did not wear makeup. I
It's
knew
for
that
my business.
you were
I
going
am
to come and say
glowing.
something here today.
How you doing?
Moriah, she's drinking coffee and smiling. Once you drink coffee like this,
We're in
the
trouble.
smile is different.
It's okay, it's okay. Let's go on a short break.
No way.
No way.
There's 1 minute.
There's nothing happening.
What happened yesterday?
Yesterday, I don't want to know.
Okay.
I've been having a lot of picture chest pains. Like back. So
Have you gone to check it out?
I'm not going. I'm going today.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Yes, last night, like
You said
serious
so now,
tightening.
since that time.
Yes, it's that time. I've not gone, so I need to go to the hospital today. So by God's grace, after the show, I need to go get it checked. So that's just
Please
it.
get it checked.
Let's go on a very short
Quickly,
break.
madam.
And we come back. I already told my family, quick, please, when I slump, it is 15 pumps. 15 pumps. just in case
You're
there's
not
a slump.
slumping, please
go
Yeah,
to
I
the
know,
hospital after
I
the
know,
show.
but it's 15
Okay.
pumps. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
That was my coffee, actually. Welcome back. All right, it's Wednesday. Mariam wanted to say hello to somebody.
Yes, my darlings of all darlings, my former PA, Tife darling, it's your birthday today, and I am so happy to be able to celebrate you today. Happy, happy birthday, darling. And I'm just so happy the way God is blessing you. All your hard work and effort
Happy
is paying
birthday, our
off.
cute
Happy
Tife.
birthday, Tife.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's start with the papers. The Nation. I remain focused on reforms despite criticism, says Tinubu. Dignitaries bid clock farewell. APC takes majority in Senate to 68. Court fixes June 27th for judgment on Natasha's suit against Akpabio. Agriculture grappling with challenges despite efforts. 10 million out of school pupils, 4 classrooms within 2 years. Why we are not applying for loan by Southeast students. Okay, which story?
A major headline. So the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday said despite stringent criticisms, he would remain focused on his reform programs, which are already yielding fruits. He spoke in Abuja during the public presentation of the autobiography of Malam Sule Lamido. They said the 500-page book is entitled Being True to Myself. They had dignitaries such as the former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Namadi Sambo, among others. Those was graced the occasion. It was also chaired by former Head of State General Abu Salami Abubakar. They said Lamido was the Foreign Affairs Minister during Obasanjo's first term. He later served as Governor of Jigawa State for 2 terms. And now in the aborted Third Republic, he was the National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, the platform on which the late Chief MKO Abiola contested and won the 1993 presidential election, which was later annulled by former military President General Ibrahim Babangida. So the author went ahead to call on the president, that's President Tinubu, to pay the Abiola family 45 billion owed to the late business mogul to bring closure to the June 12th matter. The Minister for Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, was the one who represented our president. And he said the president welcomes constructive criticism at all times in the spirit of freedom of speech and democratic engagement, but he will also never allow himself to be distracted from what is right to be done for Nigerians. He said what we need to be, he said where we need to be. We are where we need to be, and there isn't room for more work to be. There's room for more work to be done, or there isn't room for more work to be done, certainly not. what we are saying is simple, that the president has demonstrated uncommon audacity and vision to set Nigeria on the path of true growth and development. Though they had a rocky start at the beginning, they say we are now entering an era that is good with so much benefits, beneficial outcomes and all that. Now, talking about the money that was owed to Abiola's family, he's asking, that's the author now, is asking the president to please pay the money. That after the election was annulled, he had gone to plead for his money. They said because he did not win the election, he will not be getting the money. That even Abacha is aware of this conversation concerning the money. And if the president can pay the family that amount of money, he had used it for the telecommunications, ITT at that time, you know, for the government. If they can pay him, then you can
the
finally...
government owed him the money.
The government is owing him
the
the money
okay.
at the time. So he lost the election, he lost his money. Yes, but if they can pay the family, they will now finally rest this case of June, 12, and people can forget about it.
Fantastic.
Yes. I have why we're not applying for loan by Southeast students. So South and Southeast students have given reasons for their low participation in the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund. Some of the students told our reporters that they had passive knowledge of the scheme. Others were uninterested in it. Those with the passive idea blame poor sensitization by relevant authorities on the benefits. Others say that they were wary of repayment terms. Many parents and stakeholders of these two geopolitical zones also aligned with the parents. They listed ego, perceived marginalization, and lack of trust as other likely contributors to the students' low interest in the scheme. NEL Fund MD and CEO Akintunde Sawyer had early this month identified low poverty rates and cultural nuances as major reasons for low loan participation by South and Southeast. They say that only 27,098 students benefited from the loan in the Southeast and 37,180 from the South, whereas the Northwest beneficiaries are 157,831 students, followed by the Northeast with 127,058, while Southwest with 92,850, and North Central has 74,120. As we know, this scheme is one very important program of this present dispensation. It was designed to help indigent students, from dropping out of school, assist parents to save money, and then they would have used to pay school fees. The idea is you get your loan for throughout your school years, and then 2 years after NYSC, you get to pay back. So at different locations in Delta, Anambra State, reporters asked why they were not interested. I took this one from Anambra State. So a particular student says that, well, there are some students that were approached and were told about the loan. They asked several questions. What's the interest rate? What are payback arrangements? And so on and so forth. But culturally, they feel that an Igbo man would not like to be limited by debt. He would rather borrow from a relative, work towards paying for his own fees instead of being indebted to the government. So all these cultural nuances and stuff has affected the low numbers from the South and Southeast.
I have here 10 million out of school pupils for classrooms within 2 years. So the federal government is set to set a 2-year target to return 10 million out of school children back into these classrooms. Education Minister Olatunji Alausa said the plan is an offshoot of education reform initiated by the federal government, also under the Hope for Quality Basic Education program. According to him, is supported by the World Bank and the Global Partnership Education, which is GPE, and the Nigerian Education Sector's Renewal Initiative, NESR. He spoke during the year's edition of International Conference Smart Education. And according to UNICEF, Nigeria has approximately 18.3 million children out of school, and he's trying to see how they can get back 10.2 million back in the classrooms. The federal government has consistently questioned these figures, insisting that figures is actually 10.5 million, not up to 18 million. However, they are putting plans in place to ensure that these children get back to schools in the next 2 years.
Okay. Awesome. So I also took that story, but I'm just going to highlight the fact that he announced that they will be including artificial intelligence in the curriculum towards delivering inclusive future-ready education. But we know when we make this announcement without specifying, at least for the 10 million out of school, there was a specific activity plan to make that happen. But for integrating AI, before you can integrate AI, you need to first have internet connection in every school before, and then having access.
These are rhetorics that sound great for the ground, but reality.
Practical.
It's for the ground. Now just put a post in AI.
Let's fix AI inside.
So you have the
tantalize the people,
the records to show that
we said so.
Yeah, we said so. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Punch. Quickly, mass failure. JAMB VCs to review UTME results on Thursday. Picture story here. Tinubu Akpabio governors pay clerk farewell. Obasa APC protesters clash over local government primaries outcome. Cash transfer missed millions of needy Nigerians, says World Bank. US shares Wigwe's helicopter crash reports with federal government. FG voided June 12 to avoid paying Abiola 45 billion naira. Fuel import bans fears reignite Dangote and marketers row. Political firefight. Saraki panel mobilizes PDP bigwigs against the defections, and 9 banks earned 2.3 trillion interest on 6.6 trillion naira loans. I think we should go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll take the stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
When you sweat, you lose ions too. Reach for Pocari Sweat, similar to your body fluid. It is easily absorbed and rehydrates you faster. Replenish your ions with Pocari Sweat Iron Supply Drink.
With Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Hanging out with friends and craving fried chicken or smoky jollof with fried plantain? Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Running low on toiletries? Don't panic, Glovo's got you. Order on Glovo and receive it in minutes. Family time deserves quality food, so treat them to a sweet surprise. Yummy. Track the rider in real time as your order makes its way to you. Download Glovo, order anything you want and receive it in minutes.
It's the choices you make that set you apart from being good to being great. My choice? Nivea Men Deep Body Lotion with Max Tech, powered by Black Cavern. Gives you both dark wood fragrance and 48-hour moisture. And my other top choice for all-day freshness, Nivea Men Deep Roll-On for 72-hour protection and fragrance with Max Tech, powered by Black Cavern. Skin is for playing it smart. Nivea is for skin.
Welcome to Ogun State, a land of warriors and champions, where history is made. Ogun State welcomes the world as we host the 22nd National Sports Festival, the Gateway Games Ogun 2024. 33 sports, 36 states, and the FCT, one nation. A gathering of the finest athletes from across Nigeria.
The Gateway Games.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's take the stories in punch.
Yes, so I have the major headline. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board on Thursday said they will review the results of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination following what it described as unusual public complaints. The notice was seen by Punch in Abuja that confirmed that the review meeting will bring together vice-chancellors, provosts, rectors, schools, school principals, examiners, and technical experts to scrutinize the examination process and address the widespread dissatisfaction that was expressed by candidates and stakeholders. So this development also came from the week of the mounting protest from candidates and parents over the results released last Friday, with many of them alleging technical glitches and inconsistencies during the exams. So according to the official notice, the review panel, which includes members from all the Nigerian Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools, the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Computer Professionals Registration Council of Nigeria, the Educational Assessment and Research Network, and top officials from the Nigeria's tertiary institutions, they will evaluate the conduct and outcome of the 2025 JAMB. And they said in furtherance of the commitment of the board to end public confidence in its processes, the management of the board has approved your participation to be part of the review panel constituted to appraise the conduct of the examination with the mandate to identify challenges, if any, and proffer relevant recommendations to prevent reoccurrence. So they said that the panel's assignment will be at no cost to the board, right? And they said normally they go and review the examinations a few months after they have released the results. But because of the public outcry, they are saying they are going to come together on Thursday and start the review. They are going to be bringing in a lot of technical experts to find out exactly where the problems are coming from. Then they talked about the fact that it's been like a 12-year trajectory. Results have been going down and many of the issues that result into it. But aside from that, they're taking responsibility for what has happened. And with the review, after the review, we'll now know exactly where the problem came from.
I was going to take the U.S. Shares Wigways helicopter crash report. So the DG of Nigeria Safety and Investigation Bureau, Alex Bade, has said that the United Nations Transportation Safety Board shared the report of the helicopter crash that claimed the lives of Herbert Wigwe, his wife, their son, another chief executive officer, and two pilots. NSIBS is an agency of the federal government, and Biden made this known exclusive, that in an exclusive chat that he received the report, which is just about a week ago, a week after the report was released by the NTSB in the US. Because if you recall, I took that story last week where it was officially put out there with the final report on the helicopter crash. So a week after, Nigeria has received it, and I'm not sure exactly what they plan to do with that, but it's good for us to have an official report of exactly what happened. Then hopefully the family can then take the next steps based on.
But you know, they had said it was pilot error. He was not supposed to have taken off when he did, because of weather conditions and sad.
So I want to take the story of Dangote and oil marketers. So the oil marketers have declared that there's a likelihood that the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and others in Nigeria may raise the cost of petrol to as high as 1,500 once there's an outright ban. That because right now there's a little bit of competition, they are forcing the price down, but they know that if they become like a monopoly where nobody can import, if there's a ban on importation, that the Dangote Petroleum is going to jack the price up to 1,500 per litre. Of course, the spokesperson of Dangote has said that no, that's just because they want to continue to import substandard fuel into the country, that's not their intention. They said the rumors that the president may ban fuel importation is not welcomed by Ipman, and so they are going to say anything to keep it from happening. That they noted that the importers were only, that the imports were the only hope. Importers are now saying that they are the only hope of the nation when we have no functioning refinery in the country. I'm wondering, excuse me, we have modular refineries and we have Dangote refineries. So how can you say we don't have functional refineries, and that they want to use this importation to check domestic fuel price hike from happening? Whichever way, there is an economic conversation happening, not really about Nigerians, it's about business for this Ipman and Dangote. We expect that the Nigerian government and regulators, the midstream the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulators Authority would be the unbiased participants in this that protect our interests from anything happening. So if you're going to ban it, please ensure that we don't wake up tomorrow morning and find price of fuel is now 1,500 per litre because we have no scarcity as well. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. Reps reject power rotation bill and 6 others. Can cries foul alleged discrimination in North. FG prefers solutions to irregular migration to Europe. Ganduche launches fresh attack on Lamido. Police arrest 239 suspected kidnappers, bandits, and others in Kogi. Tinubu, Jonathan Akpabio, Oborevori, others eulogize Clark at funeral. And Senate calls for recomposition of FAC to include representation of local government councils and area councils. Okay.
Major headline: the leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states and federal capital FCT has raised concerns bordering on national security, religious freedom, and institutional discrimination. So they had a strategic interface with the National Security Advisor, Madam Nuhu Rubadu. This was in Abuja, and they had a 14-point communique, and this was what it included. First of all, they commended the NSA's openness, but warned that ongoing spates of insecurity, marginalization, and systemic bias against Christians in the North could inflame tensions and truncate the nation's fragile peace. They identified inflammatory religious messages, particularly by some clerics, as a major trigger of ethno-religious crisis, calling for urgent sensitization and regulation of religious preaching across faiths. The Christian body also decried the misuse of social media to spread falsehood and inciting content, urging the government to equip security agencies with digital tracking tools to identify and prosecute offenders, and so on and so forth. They're saying that equally there's a denial of access to land for building churches, discrimination in appointments, admissions into tertiary institutions, and forceful conversions of underage Christian girls under the guise of marriage. So these acts, the leaders have warned, are eroding national trust, violating constitutional guarantees of freedom of religion and association. And they are calling the federal government to please investigate and address these violations, warning that silence or inaction could escalate religious tensions.
Yeah. So I have the story of irregular migration and the fact that the federal government has identified 3 steps to deal with this issue. The Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction was speaking at the opening of the first thematic meeting of Rabat process in Abuja. Professor Yuwatda said that they have identified one thing that is good about this is statistically they said 80% of Nigerians that are migrating do so officially, but the 20% that do so through illegal means, they've identified 3 ways they feel it can be addressed. First of which is that they were going to improve, the first of which is to provide proper knowledge on, provide digital skills. That if people have digital skills and they have migration literacy across Africa, that people don't know that there are many options for migration. The more people know about options for migration, they know they will take it. Second is to develop a harmonized migration policy framework so that people can qualify easily. They see the path towards qualification and they will reduce the irregular migration. And the third is to establish Youth Innovation Fund to create opportunities for young people to find and see opportunities within Nigeria, not feel like they need to travel before they will get those opportunities. Yeah. And he said that migration is a strategy for peace and prosperity and survival, not just for Nigeria, but for the entire world. So because, there's a whole lot going on. I also feel like we're spending too much money on bringing back people. But is that asking that they will be needing help from collaboration from partners on migration governance to support, create opportunities here and create opportunities and support in bringing back these young people, because the government can sustain bringing them
all the time.
Back, sorry.
Yeah, so the Kogi State Police Command has arrested 239 suspects and recovered various weapons and ammunition in the state. The success were recorded when the force launched comprehensive attacks on the den of kidnappers and bandits in different locations across the state. So at a press briefing in Lokoja, the state capital, yesterday, the Kogi State Commissioner of Police, Mila Dantawaye, said the ongoing onslaught against kidnapping, banditry, and other crimes in the state has continued to yield positive results, and command recorded successes in the last 3 months. He said, while he was giving a breakdown of the arrests made from February to May, he said 66 robbery suspects who were, terrorizing the state were arrested, while 75 suspected kidnappers were apprehended at various locations in the state. He said that 21 persons were arrested for unlawful possession of firearms, 18 for homicide, 6 for cultism, and 4 for allegations bordering on rape. He also said 49 suspects were arrested for various heinous crimes, and he went ahead to talk about, one of the incidents, giving details of that particular incident. So they are doing a lot. They said they recovered a lot of ammunition, AK-47 rifles, magazines, different rounds of magazines. Were recovered vehicles and other things that they've been using for their operations. And he's saying that Kogi State will no longer take some of these criminal activities. They're coming all out to get those criminals, and they will all face the law.
Okay, do we have time for a story? Quickly. Tribune, which one?
I have Vanguard. Nigeria's foreign exchanges.
Just go ahead.
Earnings. Okay, so Nigerian foreign exchange earnings, they say, will come under threat as the United States Congress is looking to impose a 5% tax on all diaspora remittances. So the money that they send to us,
they will tax it now.
They want to tax it 5%. But they said those that will be exempted are if you're actual United States citizens. But it's going to be affecting a lot of countries. Nigeria, India, Egypt, so many. We're one of the top recipient countries. One of the top countries that send money out is the United States. And then you have Switzerland and Saudi Arabia. Top recipient countries, we have Nigeria as number 9, China, Mexico, Philippines, Pakistan, Egypt. So he's saying it's going to affect us, affect the value of our naira.
Again?
The less forex we get in.
Oh, we can take on this. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll move on to our topics of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom Tomato Mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like traffic lights.
Tasty Tom will surely give you value for money because Tasty Tom Tomato Mix is thick. A little is enough to get your desired quantity of stew and soup. No unfair deal.
My people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name is Uwi Balogun.
My name is my name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm gonna bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
you no go see him again. If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart. You don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we will give them to you, fact as he be.
Men no they ever get fault. If baby not there for her,
na the woman.
Talk no they be person no make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we know say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
Look, we not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some warrior.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyingo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear.
Thanks for staying with us. So today's hot topic is quite interesting. Many still argue that one of the reasons for Nigeria's level of development today is the fact that the colonialists left our affairs as far back as 1960. If you compare it to the South Africa in 1994, many believe colonization brought development, while others agree it stunted our development and hampered our growth. Now, the debate has been ongoing since a video went viral of, I think it was a British TV anchor, two in particular, were interviewing a guest where they were going back and forth on that debate. Do you agree that colonization was beneficial to Nigeria, to Africa, or is it just mere justification of cruelty and wanton level of human rights violation and exploitation? So that conversation spurred on where the presenters were trying to explain that colonization was very beneficial. Yes, they agreed somewhat that it was painful to obviously to the black Africans. However, they felt that colonization brought creativity, it brought education, it brought transportation.
They said sanitation.
They also sanitation
wow.
to the African continent. Although there was a gentleman who was trying to defend it, was saying that colonization was wrong in itself. He was trying hard to defend it, saying that that colonization itself, that they should have allowed Africa to develop at its own pace. Now, this obviously got everyone talking because it's quite interesting to see two sides of the divide of the British conversation on the reason or the justification of colonization. You can join the conversation. What do you think? How do you feel about this? Because there are Nigerians who believe that they wished the colonists stayed back. The same they did with South Africa, saying South Africa is developed today because those white guys stayed back. So there's a school of thought that really believe that Nigeria would not be where it is today if we allow the colonists to stay back. You can join the conversation 020-163-52013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to share your views. So you watched it. I'm not sure if our producer planned to show the clip, but what are your own thoughts on the possibility of this debate getting to the point where people believe that colonization was actually beneficial to Africans?
For every bad thing, there is a justification. Those that started World War I and World War II, in their mind, they rationalized why they did it. but it doesn't change that what happened was wrong. No human being has a right to come into another person's city, land, and take over and enslave them. It's still something we are fighting till today. What took place in colonialism was human trafficking, it was enslavement, it was inhuman activities that took place that should not, there's no justification for those activities. You can positively influence people without subjugating them, which was what they did in colonialism. And so when I hear people rationalize it, I can understand why they will rationalize pedophiles, they will rationalize murderers, they can rationalize anything, but it doesn't make it right. What they did, what the British did when they came to Nigeria, came to Africa and colonized Africa in the name of saying they brought education, but brought subjugation, is wrong. And people have always asked that there should be repatriation, there should be restitution, that there should be official apology. The destruction of our history and eroding of our personal sense of value in what we have. The arrogance of talking down on our culture and saying we had nothing. Okay. It is extremely, I feel like that's why we need to know our history as a people, so that we don't buy the lie that we had nothing. So that we don't buy the lie that they came to do us a huge favor, like we wouldn't have developed. Guess what? People are still coming to see what happened, how they built the amazing pyramid. It wasn't built it was built before colonialism. So the idea of saying they were doing us a favor is totally wrong. And it was it touched me in a way that I wanted to just sit down and educate my children on this is who we are. This is who we are not. We are not who they say. We were not tying leaves over our chests.
Even if
we were not tying leaves over our chest, we were doing trade.
Yeah, commerce.
We had innovation in Africa before they came. They shouldn't make it look like they were the ones that helped us to open our head. We were. So I think it was...
What are your thoughts on this, Mariam?
Have plenty thoughts. So many thoughts. God, I just hope it comes out well.
Okay, don't finish it so I can have some.
No, you will still have more. That video, I mean, the level, it just shows how far gone the effect of colonialism is still, ravaging us. I mean, do I want to start from now, how we don't even appreciate our beauty because we've been told how ugly we were. Anyway, let me start. First of all, colonialism did not bring anything positive for us. It was not about those that were colonized. It was not about Africa. It was about the Oyinbo man and how he was going to make money. Simple. And he found different places that he went and he exploited people. That's right. And the only way they got to Africa is because Africans, in the beginning, they were trading with Africans. You remember?
That's how equals.
We were communicating somehow with them. We were buying things, we were selling things. Then they, of course, got greedy and then brought weapons and started killing us and started enslaving us. And that is what colonization did. It did not bring anything that was to help build us, because whatever it is that they say is a positive today is Western education. Not that we did not have our education, but they imposed Western education and said our education was nothing, it meant nothing, that theirs was better. We had our education. She said the one that annoyed me the most is that she said sanitation. Oyinbo people, they bath. Let's tell the truth. Oyinbo people don't bath. This is something that even today in social media, when we're talking about bathing, they'll be like, oh yeah, once a week or twice a week. And then we heard about, olden days, the British. They said if you walk through the streets of London, it used to smell because they did not know how, they didn't bath. Only their aristocrats were bathing once in a while, once a month when they want to go out. Meanwhile, Africans go to the stream in the morning, you bath. In the evening, you bath. We understood all this. We had sanitation. We had education. We had a culture. We had, we had a way of life where we sorted out our issues amongst ourselves. We had conflict resolution. We had our religion and our gods, and we understood what to pray to these gods and what we understood how to teach. We understood how to impose punishment for those who deserved it and make sure that there was fairness and justice for those who deserved it. What they did is that they came and they imposed themselves on us, and then they broke us and made them to be exactly what they wanted us to be for them, which is product, which is that we should provide for them all our resources so that they can do better, so that they can be richer. We're talking about transportation that they brought. Yes, at the time in their own country or in their own continent, they were going through what we call the Industrial Revolution. Machines were coming in and they were getting better. The economy was growing bigger, but they still needed more resources. They needed raw materials, so they expanded. What they should have done, what would have been ideal, would be see our Industrial Revolution and see your raw materials. How do we pay for this and how do we take for it? But instead, like most people who make so much money, like a country that makes a lot of the European countries today, they would say that the monies that they have made, why they are so developed and so rich, is because they had the free resources from Africa that they came, stole from us, stole our human beings and took them to work on fields for hours and hours and treated us like nothing. So there was no progress, there was only exploitation.
Somebody will say that they didn't steal your humans, that your humans were offered to them. Somebody can argue that. Secondly, somebody can argue that they brought in education, they brought in Christianity. You know, they planted churches where they brought in Islam. You know, so I mean, talk about today's argument. The conversation is that this is what we brought in, and they will say that education or Christianity has brought in some kind of civilization, Western civilization to the world. But let me come to you, BC, your own
Christianity and the Islam that they brought to us, where has it taken us to?
And them.
We're in church now.
Which church? Is that all we're meant to be in church? They that brought it, have they not abandoned it?
We'll make it to heaven.
Which heaven? You see, when I saw that video, right, I was like, hey, if we had ever attacked our guests, first of all, like that on this show, Mariah will give us query, because that was not television. They didn't even give an opportunity for the young man to speak. You invited a guest, but you are imposing what the guest is supposed to say. You
don't want it to land.
Yes, entering the mouth. They need to go and learn journalism and broadcasting. That's number one. Number two, they sounded very ignorant and supremacist. I've always known that the whites really do not do a lot of research. They have been indoctrinated because, of course, they have to. They don't know anywhere aside from their cocoon. Many of them, they are young people, they are old people. They have been indoctrinated for many years on the benefits of what they did for Africa. And so a lot of them sit down till today thinking that when you come to a place like Nigeria or South Africa, other places, people are sitting lists on their chest. That's the mindset that they have. When you hear them there, when they're having conversations, they do not understand that we are civilized people till today. So they sounded very ignorant. Now they talked about education, that they brought education to us. How? We had an advanced system of education before they came. Geometry, if you read your history, started in Egypt. It started in Africa. They came to those places and took the scrolls, the knowledge that we had, and took it to themselves. They were the ones that gave the name. It's like when they came to Asaba, you know, Mongo Park, said River Niger ended in Asaba. The people living in Asaba always knew that this is where this river ends. How do you discover the river that we've been betting and fishing? I've seen that place that Mongo Park went and said he discovered. So they know how to come into a place, then change the narrative. Unfortunately, they have changed the history so well to suit them that we are now beginning to see people, you know, rise up and research into history to find that these people have lied to us for a you cannot cut now. They've lied to us for a very, very long time. So they said we didn't have creativity. The Benin Kingdom was the first to have street lights. It was when they came that they copied they had these local lanterns that they put to light up the street. The Benin Kingdom. It was Oyibo people that came and copied that and went ahead and did their own street lights. And you say we don't have creativity. All the artifacts in your museums, where are they from? From Africa. We made those bronze. We made those wood. We made all of those things. You stole from us. Till today, you have not returned many of them. You kept it in your museum, and you say we don't have creativity. So what is that? What do you call that? That's on one hand. Then we have, you know, a lot of people say they wish that the colonial master stayed longer.
I'll let you address that one.
Okay,
because
when
that's on a
we come
very
back.
short break.
All
When
right.
we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we cut, slay, and sachet, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name na Chika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail.
And I dare on top of you, pigeon.
I'm gonna bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say na my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
no go see am again.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this video that went viral of a TV program, with a British TV program where they were discussing colonization and the benefits. This was going to complete.
Yes, I wanted to, finish, land my point. So, I've heard a lot of people say that they wish the colonial master stayed longer with us, like they did for South Africa. If not, that we would have been better developed now. And I beg to differ, because it's not just about infrastructure in a country or the perceived economic development of the country. What about the people in the country? What about the mindset of the people? The typical South African has a very low mindset because of what apartheid had done to them. And I don't think they're even taking steps into resolving the negatives of apartheid in the mindset of the typical South African. The typical South African sees every other African country, especially Nigeria, as their enemy, instead of my brother, even while we went in to support them and all of that. And the way they handle, the way they carry on, the way they handle their things, if you fly across that place, you always have issues with your luggages and everything. So it's not about, okay, they have beautiful places. Nigeria also has beautiful places. The only thing we need now is that we need our leaders to be intentional about the vision that they have for Nigeria to take us forward. So South Africans are not better off than we are, even when they seem to have better infrastructure or better economy right now. But we are still in a process where we are getting there. We are more confident. We believe in our country more than they will ever do until they start working towards getting to where they are supposed to get to. And the final points.
Okay, I'll have a call holding.
Okay.
Let me take Elder David. Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please. Good morning, David. Elder David.
Thank you, ma. God will bless you, all of you there.
Amen.
You are talking of history. I will like some of your topic. Progress of on the earth. You are very correct. Go back. The woman that discovered River Niger and the woman that stopped the killing
will not discover
in the old Eastern region. And you must remember that our old king of our Verame, King Jaja Fopobo, the British came to them and told them they want people to go and work in America.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the time of Columbus. And let me tell you, who colonized American as well. I'm talking of history. I still like it. And they thought it's a progress for them. The people were so powerful at that time. And all the people they gave the British to work in the farm in America, that is their sugarcane and others. Yes, we know how they were treated in Badagry. Then they changed them both their men and their women.
Yes.
And when of our better men, yes, resisted when they were to do their own festival in Benin Kingdom. Yes, a major festival. Nobody entered there. And they want to force themselves. We know what happened. When it was banished to Calabar, it's now a history.
Right.
So whatever happened, it's a progress. Because the people colonize us. Well, they have done well for us. Because if they have not been there, well, it may be the freedom we have, they will not have it. But only for it to actually be in a negative way. America itself was colonized. The Americans you are seeing today, most of the diaspora and other, they all come from Europe.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus was the one discovered them to teach something. They are all immigrants in America.
Thank you very much, Elder David. Thank you very much, Elder David. It's important to remind our viewers that the conversation, the show is about your view, right? So we have different views and perspectives. People are coming from their own experiences, what they've read, what they've been told, or what they've perceived. So it's not all have to be perfectly factual. Just letting you know, because people say that history has been distorted. It's a viewpoint. So that's why you can open. We have the phone lines open. Call in and share your own view on the conversation. Let me read this comment before I come to you, Tokwe. This is from Carol. It says, why colonists committed barbaric acts? What about those who sold their own kinsmen to them? It's also important to recognize that it wasn't only British that were involved in colonialism and slave trade. The Arabs played a significant role in these atrocities as well. Moreover, if we're going to hold the colonists accountable, can we also say our current leaders are doing any better? The Arabs started the colonialism in Africa and go so on. The British colonized India, Singapore, and other countries that are doing much better for themselves. So that's another viewpoint.
So I think that it's very important to call a spade a spade. And criminality is criminality. Colonialism was a criminal act on everyone who was colonized. It was taking advantage of people, and it was a wrong thing to do. Our leaders are not being exempted from the mismanagement of the resources that they have mismanaged in the past, which we are feeling the impact now. So also are those that were involved in the slave trade business from our side, who participated with the whites to enslave their own people. Criminality is criminality. That is the one, that's what we are emphasizing, that we don't whitewash what is bad and relabel it as, oh, when we came there, we gave them sanitation. When we came there, we gave them, they did not have education, we gave them electricity, we gave them a car. They didn't have means of transportation. That is whitewashing the criminal activities that was carried out by colonialists in the countries they were colonizing. Exploitation that took place, what we lost, beyond the gold, the resources, the physical, tangible thing we lost what is bigger. We lost sense of identity.
Absolutely.
We lost sense of identity, and we have not found it back. Yep. The average African and average colonized person still feels like there is something better. They have something better.
Superior.
We don't know as much as they know because we were not allowed to self-develop and self-actualize.
Perfect.
Going through that process accordingly, the mindset was truncated. We were made to believe the way we speak was wrong, the way we think was wrong. When you tell somebody over and over again for generations that the way they think was wrong, how would they know how to think? They question themselves. They are not creative. And yet the seeds are there. So for me, it is important we highlight how much damage has been done. I sometimes don't like the way we've now had these juntas that are happening around West Africa, where people military take over, and then they say, we are reversing the language, we are reversing this. But a part of me is happy that take it back, because till now, many African countries are still subjugated by colonialists.
We're coming to that because that's what I was going to take us to. Let me take Abdul. Thanks, Abdul, for calling. You're live. I'm sorry, I lost that call.
Yes, I want to answer this with an analogy, especially to the women on that show. Imagine a person who lives in, let's say, fairly wealthy home, and then he sees a little girl walking about in her home. Maybe they're living in a shelter or something, and he kidnaps that child and takes that child to his home and rapes her over the years. But while he's raping her, he's teaching her the alphabet. He's giving her education. He's giving her a bedroom that she can lie on. She didn't have a proper bedroom in her own place. He's groomed her until she's about 17, 18, and then she's found. And then he says, well, I educated her. If not for the rape, if not for kidnapping her and raping her, she wouldn't have been educated. She would not have learned to walk, or she would not have learned to speak. But we know that if she was where she was, she would have learned to do all those things eventually anyway, because that is how human beings are. So everybody, societies, communities, continents would have evolved anyway at their own pace. So what I see colonialism is that someone coming in, kidnapping people, raping them of their resources, brainwashing them, and saying that if not for the exploitation, you wouldn't have grown anyway. So that is it. That's just simple. And if the white person at this age, you know, it was sad to see that these were women of a certain age, you know, that you would expect, especially of a certain age, of a certain platform that you'd expect because of their years in journalism and talking to different people and understanding the impact of colonialism on human beings, on racism, on, you know, the fact that it has caused racism over time, that you would expect something a bit more educated or enlightened. That was really sad to hear them speak. But also, it teaches us that they also have been brainwashed by their stories. That the only way that they've told their people so that their people feel less guilty, and that's why they will celebrate some of these things. You know, America enslaved, I don't want to call them Native Americans, and then they celebrate Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, it was when they had gone into these people's communities and have slaughtered these people. So they are telling their own different story. Now, for us, what was sad is, I remember in secondary school, I learned about Mungo Park. I learned about Christopher Columbus. Those were things I learned about, how they brought us salt and mirrors, and my ancestors were dancing because they did not know, they had never seen salt and mirrors. It took many years. I mean, it took my full adult years sitting at this table to realize how brainwashed I've become. I read Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, and I was shocked. Like, it was like the scales finally fell off my eyes, because I really thought for a long time that we were to blame for where we were. I did not see how, if someone were to put you and brainwash you over and over and over again, I didn't see the impact of that, how that is transgenerational. Now I know, and therefore I see colonization as nothing but exploitation, and that was what it was meant to be. Whatever benefits that they had, there was a different way that they would have interacted with us, and could have been trade. But they thought they were better than us, and so they colonized us instead and enslaved us.
Good morning. I think it's Samuel. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Good morning.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you've all spoken well. However, the question is, have we fared better since they left us, or we are worse?
That's a different conversation.
You know, it's just, if you look at it from every perspective, I decide to believe that it is a dual mandate. Whatever they've come to do, they benefited and we benefited. It's not just one-sided. But the question remains, when they left us many years ago, how have we fared? Have we progressed, or have we remained stagnant? So colonialism or colonization, to me, is a blessing in disguise. Because a lot of things were introduced that helped us today. Today we are talking about not killing twins. We are talking about medicine. Yes, it started in Egypt, but they developed it beyond where Egypt left it. They developed it. The church they brought to us. Today we are now the sole owners of churches.
What he can do for us?
So for me, it's a dual mandate. We both benefited. Thank you.
Mr. Samuel, please, can I say to Fiat today? Have they left us?
So,
you know, he said since they left.
So,
have they really left?
They have not left us. They are still.
I don't think people know that they have not
tied
left us.
to their apron string.
Have they benefited from us?
They have benefited immensely. They are still benefiting till tomorrow.
Did we have to enslave them or colonize them for them to
not
benefit?
At all. Many of our natural resources today are being siphoned out for their own benefit still every day. If we remove our hands from their life, their economy, the so-called economy they think they have, will crumble because they have nothing to stand on. But before I say that, we have our ways. We had our ways before they came. And we had our methods, which were not like their methods. So because they had this superiority complex, they felt that their methods were superior. You know, they say, what you do not understand, you demonize. They came into our system. They saw, there was a quote done by one of their great leaders. It was circulating on social media after a while. They found it in one of the papers. And when they went back and they were having a deliberation in their, House of Lords and everything, they said, these people are very spiritual. They are very connected. They have strong moral values. The only way we can bring them down is to change their identity, to tell them, to confuse them in such a way that they will not know who they are. That's the only way we can penetrate them. And that was exactly what they did. Now you are saying that they did better for us by bringing this and bringing that. Do you know what it takes? Do you know how many decades it will take for you to shake off the shackles of colonialism? So we feel like we are not being colonized anymore. But in our mentality, we are still very colonized. Many of us are sitting down. We are looking towards a God that has the same color like the colonial masters. For instance, I'm just giving this as an instance. When your God, the God that you are praying to and you are worshiping, has the same appearance of your colonial masters, what does that tell your subconscious mind? Let's call a spade, that you're still inferior. Because if we had gone back to our spirituality, we had our gods, we had our spirituality. And from your gods is where you feel like you get your insight, your inspiration, your creativity. You are still on borrowed time with another God who looks like your colonial masters. In your mindset, you will always see them as superior. And that is what is happening to us. We need a re-engineering of our minds, starting from our leaders to our education to where we are. And it will take us a number of years for us to begin to go back. Unfortunately, many people at the helm of affairs are still benefiting from the affiliations we have with them. So it's going to take a long haul. Don't sit down and blame us that we sold our own people. They use gun to collect our own people from us.
Okay, let me go on a short break. When we come back, we'll try to drive this to a different angle. Stay with us, we'll be right
back. Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom Tomato Mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like
you lose. if you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person wey go give am to you, fact as e be. Men no dey ever get fault. If baby no dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we know say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
Look, we no even take responsibility for the children. Please the man.
And that's some poria.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government that will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is the major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solutions.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas.
Thanks for staying with us. So to add to this conversation, I have 2 points, and I think I have 3 points. But the first point to add to this conversation, somebody was trying to explain African education before the colonial masters, and she used the analogy of time. Says, you know how the West taught us that there's 1 o'clock, there's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 a.m., that before the colonialists came back then, time for an African was about the relationship with the earth. So you say when the cock crows, you come in the morning, or when the sun sets, you describe time with the energies and the elements of the world. Yeah. That our education was completely different from the West. It was just and making it look like education had to be in the Western way is not completely accurate. Yeah. That if they had allowed us to educate and develop completely, the way we relate to every element of life will be different from the way they do that. That's one. Second point is, if you recall, during the Berlin conference, where Africa was tied up into small pieces of cakes of the pies, before the Berlin Conference, we used to trade. People used to come in from the northern part, Egypt, to trade all the way. We used to have that interrelationship.
Yeah.
But after the Berlin Conference, where Africa was cut up into pieces, everybody said, you take that side, I take this side, they cut us up. And they now had their own various regions. That was part of what happened with our mentality, where we realized that, okay, now I'm forced to connect and relate to you as a country member. Now, because before we used to be inter-trade partners. Yeah. But then we were forced. Now, all part of what affected our mentality of who we are. That, okay, maybe I didn't realize that this was my brother. Now we are forced to be in one region because of the cake that was cut up. Now, the third part of the point I was trying to make is, today, we see what is happening in Burkina Faso with Captain Ibrahim Traore. And he's gaining serious popularity. Yeah. What is he doing? He's going against France. He's going against the Western education. He's going against the fact that France has been taking their resources, their gold, 50% of their treasury goes straight to France. The entire France economy is mostly built. I think 70 or 80% is built on colonialism. On the resources from these countries. So the question I'm asking now, going by this backdrop of this woman's video, and where Africa is heading, based on these 2-3 countries, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, do you think Africa as a whole needs to start rethinking? Because we see our own president hanging out with France, the guy who Burkina Faso is completely working against. He's pals with our president. So it seems like Nigeria, who is a heavyweight, is still in bed with our Western colonialists.
Obviously.
So the point is, as an African, in your view, do you think it's time for us to wake up to that thinking, or to that, I don't want to use the revolution, it's too strong a word, to that reorientation of the people, where that we are taking back our continent, and that means economically, in every way.
We need, you need to, sometimes it's important to go to the past so that you can properly plan the future. You need to excavate some things. They don't build high-rise without excavating and planting the foundations deep. They have planted a foundation so deep into the subconscious of how we see ourselves that is influencing our decision-making consciously and subconsciously. As a nation, majority of our leaders, we are the minority. Those of us, look at the people that have money, middle class, as they gather their money, where are they going to? It's jackpot. Why? There are many things. We're not even making a conscious decision. It's just the way it is. So, for us to change it, the countries who have developed, what did they do? They did not go and, China did not go and ask Western world, come and help my economy to grow. India did not go and ask Western world, come and help my economy to grow. Those who, if we want to change, because everybody is selfish, I'm very, very nice. But before I would give you, I would have taken care of myself. And I'm a Christian, and I'm a very kind person. I'll still, I can't give you, I'm hungry, I want to share with you, but I'll still eat, then I'll not give you. So you are not going to make the Western world to come and help you. So they will just dash you the money. How? Or they will just dash you the resources, or they will dash you the intelligence, or they dash you. For every time we think they are our solution, we will continue to remain in bed with them, which means that we don't really have a bed. We are temporarily just occupying a space that they own. So for us as a nation and as a continent to develop, we must look within. The solutions are within. It's going to, we are the suffering. I wish that the suffering that Nigeria is suffering now is with that intention in mind. We will know that, okay, we are fighting this battle, but we know we'll get the benefit. Maybe in the next 10, 20 years. We haven't. Even till now, we haven't. We're still flying from country to country, going to seek investments because we need dollars, because we are borrowing money, because everything we are importing, we need dollars to fund it. We have mortgaged our entire crude oil that is going to come out for the next future to countries that are giving us dollar, and they're not, like, we're collecting aid. The aid is coming. There are many things being done. We should understand it is with their own interest. If what we do is our own interest.
The United Nations, WHO, all were created. But
with an agenda. They have an agenda. It is not with our interest in mind.
Let me come to you. I think it was a BC or Mariam who wanted to go ahead.
Okay. So,
do you think we start thinking ahead in this regard?
Of course. Definitely we should start thinking ahead. But also I'd like us to, while we're thinking ahead, be aware of the world that we're living now. And whether we like it or not, the Western world is the superpower of the world. And because of that, it would not be an extrication. We're not doing anymore. We cut off. It can't happen anymore that way. There's just so many relationships and agreements and things like that that have been going back and forth. But what it will take for us is that going forward, when we sit down with them, remember to put your country first in some conversations, in some agreements. Remember that they are not here because they love us. A lot of the times, the aid that they have given us has been wrapped as, you know, for me, those aids, it's just exploitation wrapped up as aids. You know, we're here to help Africa. We're here to help the dying people of Africa. But we know that that's not really what it's about. So Africa and I think Africa has finally gotten there, where we realize, oh, it's not for kindness. It's really about exploitation, but in a new way, in a softer way, in a way that does not look politically aggressive. Let's just use this word. So Africa needs to do differently, because for those who have tried to do it the tough way, to do it like Gaddafi, we know what happened. You know, there are many African leaders before us who have tried to do it that way. That Africa was not even ready, did not even see the vision. Africans themselves laid these people up and gave them up. You know, so we are in a world where the Western world is the superpower. But how do we go about it? Let's understand that, first of all, in our education, let's go here, whether we like it or not. Let our leaders understand that they need to build this place. Our resources, don't just open them up for people from different countries to come and be taking and be exploiting. Yes, the dollar is good, but what do we need to do about the naira, about the currency in Africa? Nigeria cannot do it alone. Africa as a continent needs to sit down. What is the currency we need to use? The trade between our countries, how do we need to push it and make sure that we are self-sufficient in Africa? What do we need to? We know that the West needs our resources and our raw materials. How can we, as Africa, leverage that? Negotiate so that when they come, there's a way that they come and then they will buy it at premium price. Bam. So those are the things. And then when smaller African countries are still struggling with their colonialism, you see they're Francophone countries. For us, Anglophone countries that have sort of finally gotten off our colonialist back somehow, Francophone countries still pay dearly to their colonialists, to France, till today, many years after being independent.
You know, interestingly, I'll come to UBC. You know, somebody was saying that it's easier to sell to the United Kingdom and to sell to Namibia within Africa because it's so difficult to trade within Africa. So these are the real conversations for the AU. But you know, I wanted to add an example to you, what you said. And I was doing I was working for the Commissioner for Education, Ministry of Education in Lagos State. And there was an educational intervention. Private company came to Lagos and we accepted it. Whilst we're developing it, there was the fear, even amongst the company, saying that this thing is going to help local education, basic education. But the international big brothers like the DFIDs, these World United Nations organizations, these NGOs would never allow this thing to be successful, because they have an agenda. So that was a major fear, because once that program started, they started having meetings, using things like getting our teachers to the what they call them, these labor unions, to speak against it. They're working against, because like, if this thing succeeds, it goes completely against the objective, the bigger objective, which is making money. So these are the examples of how they want to. No matter how we push forward, all those NGOs, all those groups, some of them have a bigger agenda that many of us don't see.
Yes, so because we're not also pushing forward with a form of conviction, we don't need to get their buy-in in what we do within, right? If we create, like this thing we're talking about, we start it here, we create a standard. The examinations that the children are doing, we have our own internal standard. If later on you choose to go and do with their own standard, that's a different ballgame. But we have something that's working for us. When we go to the workplaces, those are we are picking people based off of our standards. No, listen now. This is internal. I'm saying internal. See, you cannot start solving a problem.
I want you to address to reply me properly.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Let me finish. There's a point I want to make that I want you to, because when you now respond, you can respond holistically. Part of my experience there is where these international bodies, what they do, they'll come and maybe they have maybe the leaders of some labor, teachers, everything. They carry them to maybe Geneva to go for this nice conference, training. And many of them, many public servants live for international training. Carry them there and then tell them that this thing is a bad thing. Don't let you must ensure you must work against this private company trying to bring education. to your state.
Right
now, when they come back, what they do, they tell all the other teachers, and there's that pressure groups that say, no, we don't want it. That because there's a larger agenda. So there's an international force that stops
behind it. Because
so now
we
you're
are
responding.
still being brainwashed to believe that they mean well for us. That's where critical thinking comes into place. You cannot come to my house and tell me this is what you think is better for my children in my house. We need, as a nation, to take a stand that, okay, we've heard you, we have done the training, but in Nigeria, this is what we want to do for ourselves, to create our own standards. We can always find a way to, do your own later, but this is what we are doing as a country. That's how China broke it. That's how India broke it. You have to stand. Not when they bamboozle you, they go put you up on all those conferences, brainwash you. You come back and the mindset is they are still better than you. So that's one. Secondly, the oppressor cannot be trusted to tell the stories because they will retell it to absorb themselves. Of course. The oppressed now needs to come and tell their own stories from their own perspectives. We need to start retelling our stories. We need to know our history. We need to dig up some of those things that we felt we had lost. That's one. Secondly, we don't need the colonialists to lead us to where we're going to. The first thing is we need to start loving ourselves. It's not the colonialist that is our president. It's not the colonialist that is our governor. It's not the colonialist that is our local government chairman. And that's what the problem is. Now, because we do not naturally love ourselves, even the little resources that we have, we are not using it the way we're supposed to use it appropriately. So we don't even need to even start making, stay away from colonial masters, don't do this conference with them. We can do that. But the leaders of today, when we have those resources, do you think of your people first? We can begin to think of our people first, begin to do things properly, begin to enrich ourselves wisely and properly, make sure that at least the basics, the common man in Nigeria has the basics of life. With that said, we are going somewhere where we're now waiting to see, okay, how we can start re-engineering through our education. Our education needs to go back to, first of all, we even need a vision as a country. Where are we going to? Which aspect of our natural resources are we focusing on?
We have to wrap up because we have a guest. We have to wrap up on this. But when you talk about vision, I wanted to wrap up on that. No when you talk about vision, it's really crucial because I think that's where the future is. And that's what Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing. There's a vision. And that vision, he's driving the entire country towards that. And people are supporting him. I mean, it's amazing the amount of support he's getting both locally and internationally. So, well, our own vision is our own vision in Nigeria, what I see, is trying to rebuild what has been dead for many years economically as a country. So maybe our vision is not yet about the identity of who we are. It's trying to see how internally, how we can even refix and get people to eat. I don't know, I'm just saying. But the point is, I agree with you. There has to be a more holistic vision such that as in Nigeria, we are talking very much about who we are and the interests of Nigerians as a people. How do we move forward to become a proud African such that the world see us as who we are and not as who they want us to be. I think that's all we can take on this segment. It's a conversation we're going to keep having. Forever. This is an interesting conversation, but we have to go on a break because I have a guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
studio. Brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we cut, slay, and sachet, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This now what you want.
After that day, the man
you go see him again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy is not don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we will give them to you, fact as it be.
Men no they ever get fault. If baby not there for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
Look, we not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some period.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
Thanks for staying with us. So moving on this segment, we have to focus on how to raise children to be innovative thinkers and developers through technology, enabling them to become global citizens. We want to enhance their creativity and problem-solving skills. Joining us on the show to discuss this is Mr. Nathaniel Adoyi. Welcome to the show. He's an ed tech consultant, passionate about empowering children and teenagers, shaping the next generation of innovative thinkers and developers through technology. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on the show.
Welcome. Thank you so
much. To join the conversation, you can call us on the numbers on your screen. We'd like you to also be part of the conversation. So tell us, how do we help our children become more innovative in what they do?
Okay, so when I, get questions like this, I wonder why. Because children are already born scientists and innovators, actually. And children actually do a lot of disruptive things. It is only a child that will try to pull off a part without knowing how to couple it back. And that is exploring, actually, and that is what children are. A scientist is a child who never grew up, actually. So children are born with it. So I would really speak to parents more, because parents are actually, some of parents are actually the ones limiting children from becoming the best that they can be.
I have to ask a follow-up question. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry, because you see, when I hear things like this, I hear it too. But these children, they don't want to go to school again. My son, for example, likes games. Although I've not exposed him to PS, whatever, the PS something, but he does the TV games and the phone games. So every free time, he's there. Now, there's a part of me saying, allow him, if I become a gamer in future, he might, and I was say, this guy is getting, his grades are dropping. So as a parent, how do I marry the two?
Okay, so it actually has to do with balancing all of this, actually, because it has the good side and it also has the bad side, because technology can be very addictive for young people, actually. And then it also helped them in developing a lot of skills, problem-solving skills. It helps them to debug errors. You know, when they do these things, they come across different challenges, and in the process, they learn different skills, problem-solving skills, creative skills, and all of that. So it's just a way of balancing the whole thing, because what I try to do, because I also have, you know, children of my own, what I try to do is to ensure, okay, so my child is still less than 12, you know, but I have, you know, children of my siblings, so most of them come to the house and all of that. So what I try to do is to paint a life scenario and, you know, get them to solve some of these problems. So you want to play video games in my house, you should create yours. So I encourage them to create the kind of games they want to build, actually.
Yeah, so, you know, you started by saying that children are born scientists, which I agree, because you see toddlers, you know, young children tearing things apart. But the economy is not economy in this part of the world. We cannot just allow them to run around and, you know, spoil things in the name of, you know, exploring. Now, how do we balance it in such a way that we don't stifle their creativity, we also give them room to, you know, create without necessarily spoiling my household items?
Yeah. Okay, so I also would, you know, correct parents, because, you know, from our community, we realize that a lot of parents don't even give their children even computer systems because they feel that, you will spoil and all of that. But every child deserves to even have... plenty. They even deserve to have their own, actually.
Wow.
They even deserve to have their own, because from right now, I think a lot of things have changed. Growing up, you know, I think the kind of children we have right now are different from, you know, then.
True.
Even infants right now, they have, you know, gadgets. We give them tabs and all of that. And that can even have its own, you know, negative side. So if, as an infant, I have a gadget already, why shouldn't I have a laptop computer or a desktop computer at home at the age of, you know, 4? So I think children should have their gadgets. So parents too should invest more in, you know, gadgets like robotic kits, like Lego or Drano robotic kits, and stuffs like laptop computers, and so many educational, you know, and technological kits that, you know, the children can be engrossed in. I know that if they have all of these things, you know, around, I'm sure they would realize their boundaries. They will know, you know, this.
What not to spoil.
Exactly. So,
what would you advise for a parent of a teenager in secondary school who you're expected to have good grades, but also you want to encourage, you know, this tech side of them, because this is the world that we live in? What would be, how would you say to a parent to handle that parenting, which is there are a lot of apps out there, especially with AI, especially with doing work, schoolwork, and engaging AI to help you with schoolwork? Is it a no-no? Is it okay, there has to be a balance? Or are there particular apps or software or sites that you feel, let them use these sites and then it can help them? This is something that also reflects in their schoolwork. Do you understand? We want them to do all these things, but we don't want it to. We don't want it to take them away completely from traditional education.
Exactly. Okay, so I'll keep hammering on the fact that there has to be balance in all of these things, because you see, technology has its advantage, and if it is not well managed, you know, it would spoil the whole thing. Now, I would always want to say that children or young people should only have options for, you know, using technology to solve problems that they've tried to solve by themselves. So it shouldn't be the exactly, you know, because growing up, you know, we engage in debates. You know, when, you know, we are having challenges spelling a particular word, you know, our teachers will say, go and use a dictionary, even if I don't have an idea. But right now, technology makes that easy. So you don't even need to go through all of those stress trying to learn, okay, what sound can lead to, you know, the next sound that can even help me to form the complete words. So technology is really can be a disadvantage in such that it limits the way, young people, not even children, even adults, right now we have a challenge. We're quickly on ChatGPT to get, and all of that. And it's...
That one, even me have to just...
So I think...
Relax myself.
I think we need to limit it to help our brain development and, the human,
negative. So I want to talk about, for me, the idea of indulging children to play, especially knowing how important it is very expensive. And we cannot wish that away. I've had to change chargers, and I know how much we buy one charger. We bought like 3 chargers per person. It's ridiculous. But I don't think that the teachers in schools are helping the children to develop creativity without so much dependence on technology. So every homework is on their laptop. So my children are perfected. Now they are begging me earpiece. They are watching, listening to YouTube video, and the screen is showing homework. I'm like, how would you do the homework when you are listening to YouTube video? Okay, let me collect the earpiece and seize it or something. It makes it tough for me to parent when their notes and revision is on their laptop, and they have to take that laptop every day to go over things. I feel it is also like lazy teaching when everything is. So I can't say no laptop during the week because, mommy, they need the laptop. And they are able to circumvent your supervision because they understand it a whole lot more. So how do we now educate teachers that this technology thing is important, but still give room for children to do manual work?
Okay, so that's a big question actually, but I would say that this question or this challenge can be solved with a lot of collaboration. Collaboration with the school administrators, the parents, the teachers. There has to be a collaborative, there has to be big collaboration between all to be able to solve this challenge. First thing I want to also talk about is, as a parent, you have the ability to put parental control on your children's gadgets, and this can even there are levels of parental control, as
when
they
you
grow.
see when my children had guest mode, not just the guest mode, they even have there's a in the guest mode you can now do incognito on the platform. So there's no way you can check and know the history of what they've done on the system. Every time they are browsing is on incognito, and I said, don't do incognito. They now say, because I have put them under parents, so they don't use the email that has the parents.
Okay, so let me explain to you.
My children are
so in my community, in-depth computer system, in-depth computers, that's one of the things we do, because apart from training the children, we also train parents on how to do these things. I can tell you for free that there are parental control apps that you as a parent can use that can give you, 100% monitoring on every activity that your children are doing on the computer system. It can even tell you where they are at a particular time.
Please, I need that training, please.
If they are with that particular gadget, it would also give you history of the web they visit, the history of the kind of applications they visit. You can even limit the time they visit any application at all.
When is your training? In fact, after the show, we discuss about this training. I need it.
Yes. So I know that we are all heading towards AI, right? And I feel like we are heading faster than we are supposed to because we are copying the Western, and the same thing we'll just talk finish before you come. We are copying the Western world. Their ideas are the best for us. We are losing grip of what used to make us. And I know that you are into tech, right? But how do we do it in such a way that our children still have time to play outside? That play is very important. They are still able to have friends and communicate without necessarily having their gadget. So I'm noticing now that children are losing writing. They can't even write properly anymore. They give you sentences, you are worried. The writing is like a foul, a bomb. Nothing is really organized because everything now is done using the gadget. So those soft skills that we learned in terms of using our hands to play and also create, because growing up we were able to do were able to make cars with cartons, wires, straws, and all of. They don't do that. They do so much technical things, Oyibo things. And I know it's good because everybody's going to AI now. But how do we balance it in such a way that our kids are still a bit grounded, aside from technology?
Let me add to that question. I have a son, just to add to her. This boy is smart, intelligent, and restless. He's the kind of boy that if I give birth to him in the 80s or 90s, this guy will be creating things because there's no TV to. He would have done something with his brain because the guy is constantly looking for something. But guess what? Roblox and those crappy things on television keeps him busy. And I keep forgetting, watching things that are not communicating. They're not talking. You can't even. My kids can't watch a movie and stay to watch a dialogue. They get tired of watching a Walt Disney because they're like. Because they're used to Roblox and all these crappy things. So, as a parent, just go back to your question again.
We need help. Help us. That's the question, Abby.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually glad that I met you on this show because I remember there was an event we were together, and I think parents should be encouraged to engage their children for such, kind of boot camps. We actually. Brought the children together for throughout the weekend, and we had different mentors. She was also around to speak to the children and all of that. So one of the things I think parents should do is to engage the children in different activities outside
the house.
The house.
Okay, sports.
In fact, yes, outside, even the school. I remember growing up, I used to belong to this club. It's called Junior Bible, Club. Well, it's organized by my church. Then we go to, the church on every Saturday. We go in the morning as early as 10 o'clock. We're in church till like 2 p.m. Okay. And what we do is not just learn the scriptures. We are engaged in other activities, quizzes, sword drills, so many activities, debates, and all of that. So I think right now, parenting is changing. Parents are skeptical about engaging their children. I remember growing up, my parent never took me to school. From primary school, I went to school all by myself. You understand? But right now, our parents, and that actually, motivated me to want to become an adult. I wanted to, get a driver's license. I wanted to drive and all of that. But our children are actually no longer interested in all of those things right now because we drive them to school.
Not dropping off again.
We do all of these things and all of that.
If you can.
So the children are not even engaged with the outside world. They just go to school, and then they come back home, and we are even skeptical about allowing them to even connect.
The one that even annoys me more is when a child does something bad in class. You now take his recess. The recess are supposed to play small and exert energy. You now collect it in the name of punishment.
And the funny thing is, a lot of schools that we have right now don't even create that opportunity for the children to really play. Because and I won't blame the school. I won't blame the school because right now there was a particular school, because I have partnership with over 50 schools in Lagos. There was a particular school that they went on sports, and then during the football match, one of the children got injured. You won't believe that the parents of this child came to school with, the police officers, and then they arrested the sports teacher, arrested the head of sports.
You play football, you injure.
People get injured and all that. So parents, so I think
they injure every day.
Yeah, so
you say that I hear you, and I also hear parents coming.
Even on TV,
I hear you have an event.
There was a time, there was a time on social media that parents. Okay, so in all of these things that we do, we have this event. It's called the Future Innovators Festival. It's a yearly event we do. And what we do in this kind of event is we bring different role models to talk to children about how they can harness, their skills in different, career paths. So we bring people from the government, people from the educational sector.
Children are listening to people from government. Are you sure they will listen?
She was at one of the events organized by Manners and Etiquette, and the children had I wish that you need to get on their platform, to see what the children are doing with that particular weekend. So we bring role models to talk to the children about the opportunities you know, they have, you know, in the tech industry, the banking industry, and all of that. And we also have a panel session where the children talk about the challenges they face and the opportunities and things they've built. Okay. So it's more like an exhibition and award ceremony where children come to showcase, you know, what they have done. You won't believe that children are building a lot of amazing stuff, games, laptop. We always give the credits to children in China and all of that. I can tell you that in Nigeria, we have children who are building amazing stuff. And this event is a platform where we showcase all of these children for parents to see, for parents to get their children involved in this. So if you are free on Saturday, 17th of May,
we'll get the information and let us know.
This Saturday.
Yeah, you could even bring your children and all of that. Yes, it's a free event actually. It's a free event. We have the likes of Ajebo coming to share the children, or because he's a storyteller.
Yes, and he does animations.
Yeah, he does animation for children. We have a lot of people coming and all of that. So it's at Day 22 Event Center, Ogudu. It's on the mainland. Actually.
Okay. We'll set your handles on social media and let people know. So it'll be nice.
Send us personal message to ask for his name and handle. Just check his name and handle on the screen. Or check social media.
Just send it out to you. I mean, we wish you the best. I mean, as a parent, sometimes it's frustrating. I'm literally begging my child, please, I need you to go and play football outside. I mean, the other kids, I mean, just go outside, just run around.
And I keep them. I send them out.
I send them out.
They can.
And that one, they don't.
Me, I have a son that just plays football by himself.
Imagine that you're blessed. This one now goes outside. Another 30 minutes is back, Mommy, I'm done. I'm like, you're not done. Hey, boy, boom, run around, my friend.
Exactly. So to add up to all things I'm saying, now what we do as a tech company, we don't just teach the children how to use this gadget, how to use. We teach them how to leverage technology to improve whatever thing they want to become. You want to become you want to go into agriculture. You want to be a banker. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a doctor. Whatever you want to do, technology is a leverage that can help you take it to the next level. Okay. So that is what we do actually.
Well, thank you. We hope to learn on Saturday. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. I think that's all we can take.
Is that, can we just ask another question? So if your child isn't on the, you know, because I know that apps work better if they're on the phones. Yeah. But if it is not the phone, if it is like a PC or a laptop, are there still apps you can install on a laptop that can still monitor and protect that? In fact, and is it paid for?
In fact, I advocate for more of laptops for you know, children,
desktop
because desktop. In fact, what I have in my house is a desktop actually. Now, because there's limited games and there are so many games, but you can't compare that to what they get on tabs and all of that. So I think we should encourage more of laptops for the children, because laptops would make them know that this is work. This is not play. Or desktop and all of that. So there are so many applications, so many web and mobile applications.
You need a training for parents.
Yeah, and do you know what I'm seeing recently in the West? I think in Scotland, they're stopping kids from using phones in school. They have to log off their phones at the entrance before they get into schools. A lot of schools in Europe are deciding, we're not so sure about this laptop, having Google Classroom and everything on laptops. It's affecting their brain. So even though we want them to learn tech, but at what stage? And it should be in bits, a specific time, not the whole day.
It's session for parents. Help you follow it here. Where parents just come together, come and teach us how to be police.
And make it virtual, because
how to be police. How to police these children when they are online, because that's one of the things we need to know. I need to know what my kids are on.
And also learn some of their games. So if you are able to learn some of their games, that's something that they are excited about.
They were begging me to do it. I cannot. There's a proliferation of pornography going into children, and it is all within that same space. And I feel like we're not talking enough about it. Many children are being exposed to these things. I was talking to an educator that was telling me that when the parent was told that the child was playing it in class, the parents took the child away from the school and said it was impossible, and they had evidence and the parent did not agree. So I know we have just one more second, but what would you say about this technology and this part?
Unfortunately, we have to go. That's all we can say. Thank you very much for coming on the show. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you.